Namaskar Mitro. Today we will talk about the influence of Bhagwad Gita in the movie Matrix, because there's a lot of things you can pick up from the original Matrix, the movie The Matrix, which was launched in 1999, and try to understand a lot of complexities of conversations between Neo, Morpheus, and Agent Smith. So, Neo or Keanu Reeves is the protagonist, who is the pure potentiality of Chitta, which has not recognized its potentiality. And for the most part, Morpheus is his guiding angel who recognizes, as another Chitta particle, the potentiality in Neo, which can be tapped once Neo realizes who he is. And Agent Smith represents the Prakriti, or the various modalities of prana, which will kind of masquerade itself as Maya and try to allure you. So there is a lot of different things that he says, especially in that small clip, the woman in red dress. That one has this beautiful sequence where Neo thinks he has been introduced in the Matrix, and he is walking around, and then he looks at a woman in red dress. Everything is black and white, but this woman is red, and he gets kind of interested in the woman and starts looking at her even when she is walking away. And then when he looks back, it's mostly Agent Smith that turns into with a gun pointing on his head. So that shows the power of Maya or delusion and what happens when we recklessly pursue it. So Morpheus says this is not the Matrix. This is one of the training systems where you have to realize that if you are not one of us, you are one of them. If you're not one of us, you are one of them. So that means if you're not a pure Chitta particle, you're going to be operating as particles of Prakriti. So the sentient being, sentience itself means Buddhi. And you know, in Gita, Indrani Paranyanda Paramana Manasastu Parabuddhayo Buddhe Partastu Sa. So Sa or soul, the Chitta pathway, and the sentient beings or sentience, intelligence, and then Man, or the storehouse of thoughts, emotions, desires, expectations, or one below it is the Indriya or the sensation perception. So those things, the three, mind, I should say intelligence, mind, and senses, belong to the prana prakriti pathway. So he says two very beautiful things, and you have to understand the logic in Gita there. One, that Morpheus says, if you are not one of us, you are one of them. And one of them means sensuous particles, and us means chitta, the potentiality. And the second thing he says, that they appear very strong, the sentient particles, but they are always governed by certain rules. And those rules define what things they do, what is their limits, what are their powers. But you, as the ultimate Chitta particle, have the power to transcend those rules once you operate as a pure Chitta particle. Why is that? Go back to Gita, think about it, that Sa is what gives rise to the sentience. Sa, or the soul, gives rise to the Buddhi. Indrani Parananda Paramana Mana. Indrani Parananda Paramana Manasatu Para Buddhayo Buddhe Partastu Sa. So from Indriyani, which is a product, the Indrani comes from the Man comes from the Buddhi, and the Buddhi comes from the Sa. So that you know. So you are Sa. You have forgotten that, but you are Sa. That's your pure realized form. Now, the rules are only woven in the world of Prakriti, in the world of manifestation. The Sa, because it does not belong here, it has come just to observe what's going on as the witnesser, it is not going to be bound by the field. The knower of the field is not bound by the field. The observer is not bound by the observations. Sometimes it lets the observations affect itself or become part of itself in delusion mode. But the observations do not affect the observer. If anything, the observer can affect the observations. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So that's why he says that if you are not one of us, you will become the sentient being. And you are more powerful than sentient being. The way to break and overcome them is by continuing to be who you are. So not forgetting that you are a Chitta particle.
Where they have failed, you will succeed. Why? I've seen an agent punch through a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built on rules. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as you can be.
Why? Because the whole prana or the matrix itself means the medium. The medium of manifestation has come from the realm of amanifestation. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktyam madhyani bharata avyakta nidha ninnev tatra ka paridevna. So everything starts as the avyaktadini, avyakt, unmanifest, and it becomes manifest in the middle, matrix, prana, prakriti, and then it will be dissolving again. Because that is the blueprint of the prana, the blueprint of the matrix, to first throw out the web and then sink it in. Like we say in our scriptures that the spider or the makadi will throw the web and then it will swallow the web in the end. So there's nothing there. That is the mode of matrix that is always going to be operated by rules. Nature will always be cyclical. Nature will always operate within a set of rules. Chitta will not. Chitta supersedes it. That's why the superpowers, when you talk about the siddhis, they are not governed by gravitational, electromagnetic, any such rules. They are beyond the rules of particle physics. That is why you cannot have rules. That's why quantum is so vague, quantum mechanics, because it seems like we cannot grasp the concept. Grasping the concept will come in the realm of sentience being, and we are beyond the sentient, the parasentient or suprasentient, if you will. And that is the power of mukti, that is the power of liberation. Because as long as we are not liberated, we are one of the sentient beings. And the gunas are affecting ourselves, our activities, to make us more of Prakriti. So the more entangled you get in this world, the more Prakritish or form of nature's manifestation you become, the more you are governed by the rules. And of course, if you have more desires, then you are more governed by the law of karma to have the effect of those desires on you. So, to sum it up, my friends, we are Chitta particles that are currently observers and have forgotten that we are observers. So we start partaking in the observations, but we have zero control. Prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarasha ahankara atma kartamiti manyate. Because of the presence of ahamkara, we assign ourselves to be the doers, but we are just observers, witnessers. Unmanifest witnessers is the Chitta. Manifest doer is the Prakriti, Prana, Agent Smith. So once Neo realizes that he is the unmanifest witnesser, he can overcome and control the activities. Although he is not the doer, he can control the activities, because Krishna will direct the Prakriti to do something, to change the course. Similarly, Neo can control the activities of Agent Smith by believing that he is not one of them, which is the truth. So you have to control your cravings, because they represent your past afflictions. You have to control your current behaviors, because your gunas will be imprinting as samskaras in later life. So that is why you have to be overcoming the sentient part of it, where everything goes by logic, because this is going to be beyond logic. So that is why the power of Panch Pratyahara, Triyog, or anything that helps you overcome this sentient being, this samskara based, this calculated, programmed, predictable pathway that you follow. That to break is the ability to discover your Chitta particle. So then you can break it. And as Krishna says, Nvai parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nan vapt apteva vartevsa karmani. Nothing is
These people are still part
nothing
of that
is
system.
there's nothing that I
That makes
need to
them
do
our
in this
enemy.
world based
Have
on
to
the laws of
understand,
karma, but I
most of
still
these
do it
people
so that
are
I can
not
teach
ready
these
to join
other
the club.
semi
And many of them
quasi
are so
chitta
inured, so
particles their
hopelessly
true
dependent
nature,
on the
and so
system
that they can come
that they
back
will
to me.
fight to
Otherwise,
protect it.
they are going to be keep circulating in this world. Abrahma
Are you
Bhuvan
listening to
Loka
me, Neo?
Punaravartini Arjun. They will keep circulating in these seven lokas and never break the cycle. That is why it is very important to understand that we are sentient particle. We are in this world of prana, which is in the interim of Vyaktadhini Bhutani Vyakta Madhyani. The Vyakta Madhyani, the middle Vyakt manifest portion, that's where we are. And to overcome the powers of gunas, the powers of Prakriti, we have to attain our true self, which is through dhyana, which is through karma, nishkam karma, which is through bhakti yoga. Whatever pathway you take, but when you do that for long periods of time, then slowly the imprinting of the samskara goes away. Slowly the gunas will not affect you. You become gunatit, just like Neo becomes in the end in the movie. So we have to continue that path despite of the whatever we are not able to attain, and we get the setbacks. We continue to work in that path, and that way we will overcome the sentience, will overcome the prana prakriti, and that way we will attain our param chitta form, which will be full of supernatural powers that cannot be explained by the laws of physics, by the law of particle theory. So I hope you like this lecture. Please leave your comments below. Jai Shri Ram.
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again. Who's it?